What? Bang!
Whoa! Wrestling podcast. Just when they think they got the answers, I change the question.
Rep screws rep.
Yeah! Woo!
Who are you to doubt El Dan? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Did he do it? Unbelievable!
Too hot to handle and too cold to hold. And I am Macho King Savage.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty! I said WWE stands for! It's me, Austin! I will never retire!
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners, welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. Are you sick and tired of dropping $60 to $100 for the latest and greatest wrestling game? Stop immediately. Go to Wrestler Unstoppable, available exclusively through Facebook, where you can create your own wrestlers, sign contracts, get into storylines, headline PLEs, even build your own corporation, all from the ground up, all included. Wrestler Unstoppable, available now to all Facebook users, totally free. If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family, you want your name in the shoutouts, like John down in Texas. John, love giving you the shout out. Love working with you on this project we're working on. A couple of Patreon exclusive episodes coming up soon. You gotta pop over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Podcast. Sign up today. If you are a Loyalty Rewards member, $15 a month contributor, you get to co-host a show with myself. $7.50 a month, also entered into a drawing to co-host with me one of our live shows. Hello everybody, welcome to this episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. If you've got questions, comments, something you'd like me to talk about in a future episode, drop me a line at the Pro Wrestling Sound Off line, 267-642-1160, and I will get to those comments, questions, or concerns in a future episode. It is Dynamite night, and there is a lot going on. We're going to get into Dynamite as we go through the episode. So far tonight, already a lot of action going on. The Outrunners open with a match against, well, calling them two jobbers, also known as the Young Bucks. And of course, the Young Bucks pick up the win in the AEW Tag Team Title Tournament first round action. And then the big news of the night so far, AEW World Championship match, Hangman Adam Page taking on Jon Moxley, sees Hangman Page retain his championship. A lot of stuff still to come. Toni Storm, Alex Windsor versus Athena and Billy Starks. We still have Ricochet versus Mark Briscoe. We still have MJF appearing live. Christian Cage was there earlier having conversation about his history with Adam Copeland. He ended up getting attacked in the back. It's going to be an action-packed night, top to bottom, for AEW Dynamite, and as we go through the show, if anything exciting happens, we'll try to update you on that. As we progress through the news for the day, though, this episode will cover the day's news and rumors, and we will get into our SummerSlam predictions for this weekend's pay-per-view, SummerSlam two-night event, 2025, first time we're going two nights, the biggest party of the summer. Before we get to that, though, let's cover all the rest of the conversation in the world of professional wrestling. The G1 Climax, in my opinion, the greatest tournament in all of professional wrestling, taking place right now. Night 8 is in the books, and we covered a little bit of this the last episode. The rankings are so close. Right now, there are literally 5 wrestlers with the same points leading the pack, 8 points so far. For those who have never watched a G1, wins earn you points, draws earn you points, losses earn you nothing, and the 2 highest point getters from Block A and Block B in a round-robin style tournament will end up facing off in the finals to get a shot at the World Heavyweight Champion later on this year. Block A has, let's see, what do we got here? 3, 6, 9, 10 people per side. So you got 20 competitors going at it in these round-robin blocks. And right now, it's a who's who, because there are 5 wrestlers with 8 points already, 8 nights in, keeping in mind that each block only competes every other show. So one night Block A will compete, and all the Block 2 competitors will have like tag team matches and miscellaneous stuff. The next night Block 2 will go, and Block A will have tag team matches and whatnot. It's a really cool way to run a pay-per-view across several evenings, and it does take a toll on the wrestlers. Kind of not as much as it did back in the day when they were working 350 days a year, but definitely harder than their typical schedule. And it's like a who's who of the superstars of New Japan Pro Wrestling right now. Great Okan, Ren Narita, Yoshihashi, Evil, Sonata, El Phantasmo, Shingo Takagi, Dave Finlay, Shota Umino. I mean, they're all in there. Hiroshi Tanahashi, his last time competing, as it's his retirement year. And like I said, we have 5 people tied at the top with 8 points. After that, you have another 6 people with 6 points. This is anybody's game, with the minor exception of one. In Block B, Gabe Kidd, we mentioned in a previous episode, is out of the tournament due to what they believed was a torn MCL. It turns out that it is a hyperextension, but out of a concern and caution, they did not want him to participate in the tournament, instead pulling him from the tournament. The theory is that, he would have had to make it through the semifinals and get to the final to really have a purpose to take a chance on hurting himself even worse. So better to pull him out now. And put him in later after the tournament's over, give him something else to work with, and let somebody else have that opportunity to showcase. Now, the only thing kind of sucks is all of his opponents automatically get a victory against him as a forfeit in the tournament in the round robin, which kind of in a weird way benefits the B block over the A block, because the A block's got to wrestle 9 matches, once against each one of the other people in your block, whereas the other side only has to wrestle 8. But, I mean, look, it's wrestling. You know what I mean? We can make these things work. We always do. We'll find a way. Closely aligned with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and let's be honest, in the tournament, one of the big stars of the tournament is Konosuke Takeshita, who is an AEW star. And AEW in the news this week, to Tony Khan having a conversation about what his plans are in the future. He was on the Wrestle Friends podcast. Related to AEW Dark, remembering when they launched the company back 2019 and things of that nature, Dark was a great opportunity to showcase new talent, up-and-coming talent, big debuts, and then eventually along the way, Collision came into the equation. When Warner Brothers Discovery negotiated the latest contract, it was one of those things where they didn't feel they needed AEW Dark, but he did mention he would love to bring back Dark. He said, I would love to do that, I think I has to. The thing is, and he's very clear about this, it has to make sense with our media partners. It says, when we launched AEW Collision, which is such an important part of AEW TV every week, we really had this great opportunity to go into a new media rights package, and it's the lifeblood of AEW. So it sounds like he would love to bring Dark back, probably in short order, but has to do what's in the best interest of their broadcasting partner. Makes sense. Though, if you're Warner Brothers Discovery getting the kind of ratings that they claim to be getting on their streaming platform, you would think every program that is AEW branded you want to put together, even if it was just on the streaming platform, that would be a great idea. So I see no reason not to do it, but again, we'll have to wait and see how things play out. Another AEW tidbit, Hook, who has been out for quite a while due to injury. It turns out he had a concussion that has kept him out of action for a significant period of time. He did appear briefly at AEW Double or Nothing 2025 after being out for several weeks. In the Anarchy in the arena match, he attacked Claudio Castagnoli, and it looked like there may have been something about to go down with him and Samoa Joe, which is odd considering they're, buddies, same faction and whatnot. But Fightful Select has a report out there that there is no date for Hook's return. He is still not medically cleared. The reason for the Double or Nothing appearance was to kind of plant the seeds for storylines coming in the future. So it's very cool that they're kind of future booking and thinking these things through, really trying to figure out what they want to do long-term with Hook. He obviously has had the opportunity to really participate in some big feuds already in his young career. He is potentially one of the pillars going forward of their company. A lot of conversation about how many talents have come in and out and whatnot from WWE to AEW and then back again. Hook is somebody who has no prior WWE affiliation, so if Tony Khan wants to strap a rocket to him and take off, they can do that. It's a homegrown talent, as opposed to some of the other guys who've come in from WWE from time to time, who may not always show the same level of loyalty that somebody you would think that the Hook would, because this is the company that gave him his first opportunity, his first big break. So definitely something to keep an eye on. I'm very interested to see how they would potentially book a feud between Hook and Samoa Joe, but that's hopefully a long way down the road, and we'll have to see how things go. Drew McIntyre in the news, switching gears a little bit. SummerSlam, we talked the previous episode, he is kind of stuck in the United Kingdom right now, did not bring his U.S. passport, and he's being held up and not able to get back. Some people thought this was storyline. Various media outlets are insisting that this is legitimate, that he's not been able to get home yet. Someone did say, there is a quote, that WWE has quote-unquote wheels in motion for alternative plans. There's a report from WrestleVotes that they said, I spoke with a source who tells me wheels are in motion for alternative plans in the event Drew McIntyre is unable to get back to SmackDown this Friday in New Jersey. What that means for his tag team match against Jelly Roll and Randy Orton at SummerSlam is yet to be determined. What a strange situation. You would think there would have to be an easy... I mean, let's be honest. It's been days. You could have gone to his house and put his American visa in a FedEx envelope and gotten it to him by now. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is kind of ludicrous that we're waiting this long to find out what they're going to do with this match, which is a high-profile match with a major celebrity booked for the show. You really need to know what you're doing going forward. On the heels of all the festivities leading into SummerSlam, the other conversation piece is Gunther talking about, and there's a quote, maybe there's a chance that he gets the opportunity to face John Cena this year. On Radio Times, he claimed that he hopes to face John Cena in the ring before his retirement. He said, quote, it's great for him that he is able to do that and say, this is the way I want to finish it and the way I want to go out. That's a great way to do it. If somebody deserves it, then it's him. It's good to have him back around. Obviously, I have not interacted with him or seen him much because he's on SmackDown mostly, but who knows, there's still a long time left, so maybe there's a chance to get in there with him before he hangs it up. He's a guy that everybody knows. It's like what Hogan was in the 90s. If you know wrestling, you know John Cena. It also shows the love and passion he has for the business. He doesn't need to do it. He's financially got bigger fish to fry with his movies, and he's a made man already, so there's no pressure for him to do all of that, but he decided to invest a whole year into this. It's a very classy way for someone like him to go out and have his 1 year of giving back and do it one more time. I would love to see it. I really think this is the kind of match that, much like the Goldberg match, except that John Cena has always been much more athletic than Goldberg, I think Gunther could get something really special out of John Cena. We've mentioned this in a previous episode a few weeks back. Curious to see where that goes from there. I would not be surprised if that ended up being the last match in John Cena's retirement tour. I really think that that might be exactly what WWE needs to do to really pop the crowd. And look, if you think about it, if Cena puts him over on his way out the door, you've made Gunther tenfold. You really have. You're the biggest name in the business for the last decade and a half, and he's the one who puts him away. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. I think it would be great for business, and I would really, really be interested in seeing that. But again, we'll have to wait and see. There's a lot going on, heading into this weekend, and I think once we get through this weekend and the two-night SummerSlam, we may have a better idea, better sense of where things are going, especially with people like Karrion Kross and Scarlett, whose contracts have been highly debated. He was out today, Fightful Select, putting out a quote from Karrion Kross saying, I don't think I should talk about any of it right now, but I'm hoping that when it's time, the time is right, everyone will know what's going on, including us. Not sure what that means. It could mean that he already has a contract and he's playing to the crowd and doing what he does with social media. It could mean that he really doesn't have a new contract yet, and here he is in a premium match at SummerSlam, kind of following the modus operandi of WWE. Here's a guy whose contract is coming due. Let's give him a push to encourage him to sign again, and then we'll just forget all about him. I hope that doesn't happen. I think the fans love him right now. So we'll have to wait and see how things play out, but you just never know. I've been dodging some of this conversational stuff all week because, how emotional last week was for some of us with the loss of Hulk Hogan. But there are some things we have to get to. Good, bad, ugly, in between, all points. Let's start with this. Current WWE superstar slamming fans who honor Hulk Hogan, telling them to do their research and posting the rant video where Hogan was making some of the disparaging remarks that he had made previously that are so notorious at this point. The WWE talent is Jamar Hampton. He has been on LFG. He's been on Evolve. This young man, he's looking to make a name for himself in the business, and I can respect the fact that he is not a fan of the things that have been said. All right, I get that. I do. My concern here is I have watched all episodes of LFG, and I think the kid has a lot of opportunity, a lot of promise. Certainly needs to work on some of his in-ring work, but I think he's doing a great job. My concern is that with him coming out being so strong about this, that he could be gaining some heat in the back, because obviously this is something that WWE did not put into his social media feed. It's not something they were looking to do. If anything, they've done 3 tributes to the guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's not one of these things where they were like, okay, we're going to put tributes out and then we want you to go out and trash talk. No, that's not the case. This guy did this on his own social media. He included a YouTube link to the audio and captioned the post with what the caption says: "Is this really who we should be celebrating? Do your research." And it's the Hulk Hogan racist audio, 2016 leak and transcript. It's deep stuff, and like I said, I've said this before in the previous 2 episodes. You can feel any way you want to feel about this. I'm not here to judge anyone. Who am I? But you have to wonder, and this kid is not the only one. The ex-ESPN analysts are coming out, and some of them, Bomani Jones says Hulk Hogan never had a legacy. Now, I'm not going to go that far. I don't think this guy has a clue what he's talking about. I don't know him. Okay, look, it's one thing to say he tarnished his legacy because of these horrible things that have come out of his mouth, and I would have no problem with that. He has the right time with Bomani Jones is his YouTube show. He has a quote in here: "Why do people love Hulk Hogan so much?" And I have spent the last 96 hours and change trying to come up with an answer to that question, and I don't have it. Well, we all had, and it says, we all and everything I read stipulated that he was a giant, enormous pop culture figure and that he was the most famous of all the wrestlers. I didn't see anything I thought gave a real explanation as to why it was that this guy was that popular and that famous, right? Because the thing is, you got to win over your block before you can win over your region, before you can win over your country, before you can win over your world, right? In this case, I'm using the block as being a wrestling. Like, he had to win over wrestling to move into this bigger world of pop culture fate, right? How exactly he won over wrestling? I mean, the wrestling fans, not the machinations of wrestling business, right? Just winning over and becoming such a popular wrestling fan, Vince can't make you like who you like or not like who you want to like. Like, it doesn't work that way, right? Those crowds, who love the Hulkster were real. We all acknowledge that he was a bad wrestler, okay, right? We all generally stipulate that he was a bad wrestler, and the majority of the really popular wrestlers are good wrestlers. He wasn't exactly the coolest wrestler. I mean, he ain't no Ric Flair, right? We also wind up with that part. He's not really that guy, and low-key, his character was a little bit corny, right? The training, prayers, and vitamins, even though we found out the vitamins, you couldn't buy them in stores, you know what I'm like? He's out there telling you to take vitamins to get big as me. Meanwhile, he put his pants down, putting his booty out, right? We know things about Ric Flair that aren't so great. When Ric Flair dies, we're not going to break them out like that. It doesn't land the same. Like, as much as people like me love Ric Flair, there's something different about Hulk Hogan. Just landed completely different. With Hulk Hogan, again, it's hard to have a legacy, but what we know you for is play fighting. There's no substance there. Okay, like, what is The Rock's legacy? Does The Rock have a legacy? He's a very entertaining play fighter. Like, that's not mean what you have a legacy, right? So this guy sounds like he's implying that there's no legacy there because it's play fighting, which he goes on with his fandom about Ric Flair. Ric Flair was a play fighter too. And look, I'm so tired. Ready? Here comes me getting fired up. Ready? I need to try to keep myself in check. But he goes into this whole tirade and he throws in about him being a bad wrestler. Let's be honest, right? Let's go down some of. Now, I'm not talking about your Mount Rushmore of like technical megastars like Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat, that kind of stuff. Big names. Andre the Giant. Was he a fantastic catch-can wrestler? Absolutely not. The Big Show? Absolutely not. Triple H, super technical, but he wasn't the biggest star. Hulk Hogan, did this guy ever watch matches that he had in New Japan Pro Wrestling when he's doing drop toe holds and wrist locks into, kick-ups and all that kind of stuff? No, he doesn't have a clue. And I question how old this guy is, because I'll be honest with you, unless you lived through 1984, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, you don't have a right to be speaking about this like you know anything, because it's not about facts and figures. It's not about dates in a yearbook, in an almanac. It's about the emotion you felt when it happened. He clearly wasn't a fan when this happened. I don't even know who this guy is, and I don't really care. This channel, I go all out of my way to try not to be controversial. Hulk Hogan is controversial. Hulk Hogan said some disgusting, irreprehensible things about people that he never should have said. I will never justify that. Does it tarnish his legacy? Absolutely. Does he still have a legacy? Absolutely. Does The Rock, like he mentions The Rock, does The Rock have a legacy? Absolutely. Ric Flair? Absolutely. They all do. You know what the legacy is? They entertain millions and millions of fans around the world in a way that transcended their niche and became mainstream. When you look around the world, you don't see people showing up to WWE shows wearing the same number of, say, Neymar jerseys as you see people showing up to soccer events wearing NWO or Hulk Hogan or any other kind. You don't see Lionel Messi going to hype up the wrestlers backstage at a wrestling show, but Ric Flair shows up at almost every NFL team and hypes them up. Hulk Hogan was doing that too for a while. The guy clearly has a jaded opinion, and he's entitled to it because what he said on that recording we mentioned earlier is heinous, and other things he's done. The lying, the embellishing, I get all of that. But that is not that has nothing to do with the fact that this is a guy that the only reason this guy can even speak about Ric Flair right now is because of Hulk Hogan. The only reason this guy has a conversation about The Rock is because of Hulk Hogan. Because let's be honest, and I said this in a previous episode, the NWA, Ric Flair, all those guys, they were not killing it back in the day. They were struggling. Were they making money for a short while? Yes. In 1987, they started losing money, which is why they were sold to Ted Turner when he purchased the NWA. I apologize. He didn't buy the NWA. He purchased the intellectual property and created World Championship Wrestling. Anyways, I could go on about this forever. Let's move on because it's driving me crazy. Speaking of Ric Flair coming on Ariel Helwani's show, talking about a variety of topics, including why at WrestleMania 8 there was no match between he and Hulk Hogan. His quote here says, "I don't know the answer to that. I'll tell you what I think. I don't think Hulk wanted to leave on a losing note," which I totally understand because who I am after what he's done for the company. And number two, I don't think maybe they thought it would draw like it should. I have no idea. The one thing that I know for sure is that I never ever got over in New York. Ric Flair referencing the fact that no matter how big his star power was in NWA, WCW, or pick whatever way you want to refer to it, he just never reached that same level of success when he went to WWE 1990, 91-ish time frame, 91. And that's true. I get it. I understand it. But there have been many people who theorized that they did these test runs in house shows in local markets, did a whole loop, and they just weren't feeling the reactions they were getting, which caused Vince to change course and go a different direction. But that's that match at WrestleMania that we all thought and all dreamt about having, and it just never came to fruition. On the ongoing topic of Hulk Hogan, we actually have to shift gears a little bit into his daughter, Brooke. A lot of things about Brooke this week. One, it came out that she had been removed from his will, was not interested in any of his money, which is interesting. She didn't want to get in the middle of any drama. Then it came out that she put a beautiful eulogy out to her father. And one of the quotes in there says, "His hugs were my home." Very supportive of her father, understanding that there was a lot of personal stuff she's not going to go into, but that they had been working through the last couple years. Basically focused on her concerns about other people taking advantage of him in business dealings and other situations, and that was something that was of concern to her. But it was a beautiful eulogy, and then following it up that unfortunately it sounds like WWE never invited her to the tribute shows, which I have no idea how that could possibly be the case. Absolutely terrible. She put it on her Instagram story, said, "For those of you giving me crap for not attending Dad's tributes, WWE did not extend an invite," which that just blows my mind. And she's not the only one. Shockingly to me, Linda Hogan, the former wife, the former spouse of Hulk Hogan, talks about him very positively. She says she never moved on from Hulk Hogan. Several quotes. She was on Instagram. She put up, "I had no idea he passed away this soon. We all thought he would make a comeback. Big surprise. We're all devastated. It's hit me so hard." She said later, "I loved Hulkster more than he loved me. It hurt when he cheated, but he was so famous. I sort of understood, but it was crushing. It hurt. I never got over him or started a real relationship with anyone. I missed him." She said, "I've been weeping all day. The finality is just shocking. We spent every minute together for so many years. I've known him since I was 20. He was 28 years old. I was 22. I still love him. Even though I never spoke or saw him, Nick did, and Nick would tell me things and vice versa. Just the news about life, I still felt, although broken, we were still a family. It's so hard to know he's just gone. I tried to stay strong for Nick, but I'm melting down. It's very sad. I love you, Hulkster. You were my man, the only man for me, R.I.P." It's shocking when they have such an ugly divorce and all the stuff they went through to hear that, but it's also beautiful in a way. It means everything they had, I feel like it was real, at least for her. I actually suspect it was for him as well, but definitely seems like it was for her. Now, I'm not going to crap on the fact that she says how she never moved on to anybody else, and there was pictures and video of her with another dude, but obviously not at the level that she had with Hulk Hogan. So, prayers out to her. She's obviously going through mourning. Same thing with Brooke, Nick, all of the Hogan family. And oddly enough, Vince McMahon in the news also, because he had a serious car accident. Apparently, same day as the Hulk Hogan news broke, he was involved in a crash in Connecticut. TMZ Sports reported that he was driving his 2024 Bentley northbound on Route 15 in Westport, and he rear-ended the 2023 BMW 430 and then struck a wooden beam guardrail in the median. The person who he hit has come out and given a really interesting statement. It almost sounded like it was something put together for reality television, but whatever, it is what it is. I'm not here to trash anybody. It just seemed very strange. It deployed all the airbags. Fortunately, nobody was seriously injured, but he is being cited for this. And apparently he has a history of being a horrible driver. So hey, who knows? But odd that it was the same day as Hogan's situation. Very, very strange. Keeping with the legality news, because how can you segue to anything other than that? Former WWE superstar Duke the Dumpster Droese has his court appearance next month in his legal battles. For those who don't know, he has been accused of attempted aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor. He apparently was trying to purchase material that was very aggressive and very inappropriate with minors in April 2024, and apparently was not successful in acquiring that material, thank God, but the intent was there, and he was still found to be have enough evidence there to bring charges against him. How horrible, I'm not in full transparency, I'm not saying for him, for anybody who is affected by this, to have someone in that situation be open to that stuff just blows my mind. I don't understand why people do what they do. It's absolutely disgusting. Let's get off all this deep stuff. Let's get into some more fun stuff, okay? Last part of the show tonight is probably the most important part of the show. It is prediction time. WWE SummerSlam 2025, 2 nights coming up in a couple days. Let's go down night 1. Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. No surprises for me here. I'm going Jade Cargill the whole way. Wouldn't it be interesting for her to win this championship, for Rhea to win the other one, and for them to face off at Crown Jewel shortly? Or I actually think it's in Perth, where they go for the Crown Jewel Championship or whatever it is. I actually think Jade will win here, though there is a case to be made for Stratton to retain for other reasons if Bianca Belair ends up getting involved in some way and going heel. But I'm going to save that for further down the pike. I'm going with Jade Cargill. Let's assume Drew McIntyre makes it back. Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. This celebrity never loses. I'm going with Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. You just have to. That's just the way it is. And some people say, oh yeah, Logan Paul's a celebrity too. Yeah, he is, but he's more of a wrestler nowadays. He really is. I get it. He's got a channel and endorsements and all that kind of stuff, but he was made for the wrestling business. Jelly Roll's the guest celebrity. They always win. So I'm going with Jelly Roll. We have Gunther versus CM Punk, the theorized main event for night one. This is a tough one for me, a really tough one. I think if Gunther keeps the championship, he can go on to defend that against John Cena if John Cena is no longer champion. I think if John Cena is going to stay champion and CM Punk wins this match, it opens the opportunity for either a Seth Rollins cash-in or other feuds going down the pike with people like Jey Uso or Braun Breaker or whatever. And this is hard. It's really hard. I think for me, what I think would make the most sense would be for, I can't believe I'm going to say this, I'm going to say Gunther retains the championship over CM Punk, even though Punk just lost to Cena for the WWE Championship. I hate to see him lose twice in a row in one of those types of matches. I don't know where we go with him after that, but Gunther's just over like Rover, so I'm going with Gunther. The Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez defending against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. I just think it's time. Flair and Bliss just come together. They make a lot of sense. They seem to be very happy in that tag team, an RK Bro kind of feel. And my prediction is Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss take the tag team championship. Sami Zayn, Karrion Kross, covered that earlier. I think if Sami Zayn wins, which I think he will, that's my prediction, it's because Karrion Kross may be leaving. If Kross pulls off a win, I think he's got a contract already in hand, just isn't telling anybody. That's just my opinion. But if Kross loses, he's probably leaving. If Zayn wins, but if Kross wins, he's definitely got a new contract. That's just my opinion. Roman Reigns, Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Wow. There's only one way I see this going down. Reigns has not had a match since Mania. He lost at Mania. Can't lose 2 in a row. Reigns and Jey win by pinning Bronson Reed because you're not going to do anything to harm the character of Braun Breaker. You're just not. That guy is going to have the rocket ship like they were talking about on Unreal the other day with Jey Uso. So I think that's how that goes down. Night 2, let's go through that. The tag team ladder match. I'm not going to list all the names. You know who they are. I'm sticking with the Wyatt Six to retain. They just got the belts. You can't take them off them already, or else that title really bounces around like a ping pong ball, and I hate that idea. Dominic Mysterio, AJ Styles, Intercontinental Championship match. I am pulling, oh gosh, this is a tough one for me. We haven't had the Finn Balor match yet. We haven't, and so I feel like we have to have that for the title. But then again, Mysterio is going to challenge for the Mega Championship, and they are trying to get that brand over. He could lose to AJ here and then win the Mega Championship, and he still has gold for the Judgment Day, something that could bring Balor to AAA. Oh man, I'm going with Dominic Mysterio to retain. I can't believe I just said that. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Steel Cage match, United States Championship. I am Jacob Fatu all the way. Even if we see a returning Tama Tonga, maybe we see a debuting Zilla Fatu or somebody else in the family, Journey Fatu or something. But I really think this is where you could give it to Jacob Fatu to get it back. That's probably why they took it off him in the first place, even though I think Solo Sikoa is doing the best work he's ever done right now. Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. No disqualification, no countout, last chance match. I think this is where we see Bayley come to the aid of Becky Lynch, turn heel, and help Becky retain the Women's Championship. My prediction is Becky retains because of Bayley. The triple threat, Naomi, Rhea, Io. Io has always beaten Rhea. Rhea's never beaten Io. We're not going to have Rhea beat Io here, but we also can't take that belt off of Naomi. This is her big run. She wants to start a family. Naomi is going to retain. Rhea Ripley is going to hit a Riptide on Io. I think this is a popular opinion many people have. Rhea's going to hit the Riptide on Io. Naomi's going to throw her out of the ring and steal the pin. That's what's going to happen. We're going to see Rhea do something later in the year, but this sets up Naomi as one champion, Jade as the other, and we can have that match that we thought was going to happen when Naomi was going to cash in this night. We can have that now for the Crown Jewel Championship. I think that's a great idea. And the main event, night 2, John Cena, Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. I'm sorry, I don't know where to go with this. This is tough. I don't want to see the double turn yet. I want to see Cody stay face. Does The Rock show up? Oh my gosh. I'm going with Cody Rhodes wins the WWE Championship so that John Cena is freed up to work with Gunther, who I predicted earlier, to retain his championship. Cody Rhodes can go on to have that feud with Randy Orton. They teased that after their match earlier this year. Cena has other things he can do, and this heel turn just hasn't worked. This way you can get Cena back to being the babyface that the fans want him to be, and we can just move on and close out his career in a much more positive way. That's all the time we have for this episode. Check back with us next episode. We'll run down the latest wrestling news and rumors listeners. Special thanks, as always, goes out to Suno for generating the music and sound effects in our show. Today's show is sponsored in part by Beazle Games. Bring a new friend to family game night. It's easy with Sketchy people. Showcase your artistic side in this game from Beazle Games by going to thegamecrafter.com and pick up your copy today. If you're looking for your next career move, you're considering college, university life, or you just need some formal training for your next career decision, go to our website at frolifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Fro Life Educational Planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Dr. Fro. I want to thank you for taking some time with us today. Until next time, enjoy SummerSlam both nights, and we'll see you later. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.